All right. Good morning, ladies. Welcome back. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Christmas last week. Happy Thanksgiving this week. But yesterday the weather was great with the rain. I really appreciated that. Today we're back. It's hot.
True.
I'm sweating already.
Well, kind of. Yeah, last night was nice with the rain.
Anyway, got a couple announcements for you guys. The first one is, again, I believe this is the second time we've announced this, but Trot the Turkey Off. It's the Saturday after Thanksgiving, November 25th. It's a great way to invite people, get everybody together. If you want to run, you can run. If you want to walk, you can walk. If you don't want to do any and be supportive, show up for that.
And get a smoothie.
Yes, they have some fun stuff.
Yeah.
There's a kids' fun run, so get your kids involved. I feel like that would be a great way to get some energy out, especially of a 5-year-old boy.
See all their little friends.
Bounce houses, smoothies, like you said, and more. So you can register at compasschurch.org if you guys are interested in doing something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then our women's retreat has been announced. It's going to be on a March 1st through the 3rd in 2024 in Carlsbad. It is such a sweet time to get together and fellowship with your friends.
You stay at a hotel.
You get to stay at a hotel
with women,
and
you can have roommates. Well, you do have roommates, but you can pick how many roommates you want in your hotel room.
So if you have a buddy from Navmo and you guys want to go together, yeah, it's super fun. And there's great teaching, and you get free time to walk around, and
Daddy gets to take care of the kids.
Yeah,
for
Daddy
the weekend,
gets to be on Daddy duty,
which is fun for everybody.
Yeah, it's a super sweet time. So it hasn't gone live yet for registration, but it will be coming out soon. So keep an eye out for that.
Yeah. And then also thank you tables 5 and 6 for breakfast. I'm very hungry this morning, and it's looking amazing back there. We are taking a break next week, but
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Well, I need to look at the calendar. We are taking a break for 2 weeks. We'll miss you guys for 2 weeks, but then we'll be back on December 7th and 8th.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. December 7th and 8th. So don't forget. Don't show up. I mean, you can show up next week. I don't know what would happen.
Yeah.
Somebody would be here to greet you.
Well, yeah, next Thursday's Thanksgiving.
Oh,
so
Thanksgiving.
Lord willing, you're all with your
You won't
families.
be here. You'll be with your family. You guys, clearly in my head, I told Vicky this morning. Anyway, this is TMI. I had a good cry this morning. I don't know if you guys have those mornings where you just like start crying and then you keep crying. And so I'm kind of I'm coming back from that. So I'm a little all over the place.
We're glad you're here, friend.
I'm good. I'm okay. In case anybody's concerned about me.
Welcome
I'm just
to her TED
pregnant.
Talk.
I'm pregnant. Anyway.
Yes.
We need
the
prayer.
hormones.
We need prayer this morning. Who's praying for us?
Let's have our mentor mom come up and pray for us. We're going to have Tammy Amelli. She's been married to her husband, Jesse, for 20 years, and they have 3 children. And I love her advice to moms. Parenting is challenging and often exhausting, and there are lots of ups and downs. Just when you think you have something down, it changes. But one thing never changes, and that's God.
Yes,
So I love that.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, ladies, let's bow our heads and pray this morning. Lord, thank you so much for bringing us all here today. We know there's many challenges sometimes that gets us here, but this message of gratitude just to be on our hearts, Lord, that you would open our hearts and minds to hear the truth of your word today through this teaching. We know that this season of Thanksgiving can be difficult. A lot of us are going through difficult circumstances, but ultimately, Lord, to keep our eyes on you and that you are there with us through all these circumstances. We are so thankful for this breakfast, for being face-to-face, for fellowship. And we just are grateful, Lord, for the hands that prepared the food for us today. Would you bless it? Bless our conversations and our time together. In Jesus' name, amen.
And I have to shout out you real quick. You have to walk by their table. She set up the cutest little, it looks like a farmer's market where you can go and do like a little grabbing of different things and put it in like a little, it's so cute.
It's super difficult. It's trail mix.
It's super cute,
I put food in buckets and it looks really good.
I just had to say, it's super cute.
Imagine if we shared our meals like this all the time at home. Like just put your food in buckets and your kids can pick from it.
It's super cute. Okay.
They would not pick the vegetable bucket.
No.
That would be poureth over.
Okay, tables 5 and 6. You guys get to go first this week.
I don't remember anything I said. People keep coming.
All right, the last two tables who have not gotten food or gotten the memo. You guys may go get your food. Oh, save a donut. One donut. That's all I ask.
I haven't even watched.
All right, ladies, we are ready to begin. I have the pleasure this morning to introduce my friend, Carrie Kirk, who's going to be teaching us this morning. You can cheer for her. If you guys don't know Carrie, she is always the cute one sitting at the table over there. But she moved out here. She's a Michigan transplant. She came out here in 2021. She has been the intern for our women's director, Stephanie Schwartz. And then now she is a full-time employee here. And if we knew a small percentage of all the things that Carrie did to kind of facilitate all the things for women's ministries, we would be very tired, I'm sure. She's such a hard worker. She's such a faithful friend. I'm grateful to have her. She's married to her husband, Wes. They like to go on hikes, find the best coffee shops, have game nights with friends, and eat chocolate chip cookies. And without further ado, here is Carrie.
We're good now. All right, here we go. Okay, you guys, Thanksgiving is 7 days away. 7 days away. And yes, we've been in the season of leaves and pumpkins and apples and all sorts of things, right? We've had the Starbucks pumpkin spice. If you haven't, I'm sorry, it's gone. We've moved on to Christmas, but we've been in that season, right? But Thanksgiving, it's a little different, right? Because in a week, we're going to go to people's houses and we're going to be expected to bring food. But before we can go get food, we have to go to the store, right? And so you are going to pile in your car, you're going to haul your 2 kids along, maybe throw shoes on if you're lucky, and you're going to go to Costco to get a pumpkin pie and a turkey. And by the time you find parking 15 minutes later, you're going to walk in and you're going to get your turkey and realize they're out of pumpkin pie. How are they out of pumpkin pie? And so that means you're going to have to go to store number 2 of the day. And so you're going to bring your kids and your turkey back in the car and you're going to go to the next store. And in the next store, you're going to get your pumpkin pie, but they don't have whipped cream. And how could you have pumpkin pie without whipped cream? So you have to go to the next store to get your whipped cream. And finally, you have your turkey, your pumpkin pie, your whipped cream, and you're on your way home and you realize there are tons of things that need to get done before Thanksgiving Day. And the list goes on and on. Am I going to marinate the turkey? What time does the oven set for? Am I doing this at my parents' house? Where am I going? What am I doing? And are my kids screaming because they're hungry? I don't know. Well, that's just before Thanksgiving. You haven't even hit Thanksgiving Day yet. Thanksgiving Day, you're going to wake up and you're going to take all the food that you just bought and you're going to put it in your car along with your kids. You're going to hope that you look okay and you're going to go to wherever you're going for Thanksgiving. That could be your family's house, your in-laws, your grandparents, your great aunt, uncle that you rarely see, but once a year you go over there. And you're going to show up and you're going to hope that the oven's ready and set to go so you can cook your turkey and you can put the pie in the fridge, but is there room in the fridge? I don't know. Everyone's bringing their food, right? As you can tell, it gets more and more chaotic. And this American holiday that we have to slow down and to be thankful only ends up adding to the chaos of the day. And I don't want you to leave Thanksgiving and miss the entire point of Thanksgiving. I don't want you to get to the end of the week and be confused because you didn't have any moment to be grateful. Maybe you paused for 3 minutes to take a family photo and put it on social media so everyone knows you're grateful for your family, but that's about it, right? 3 minutes. So today, I want to talk about how we can be grateful, why we can be grateful, and what we can even be grateful for as we prepare for Thanksgiving this next week. Well, it's been interesting doing research on this because recently, a lot of counseling and psychiatrists have been trying to find gratitude and thankfulness and how that works with us as people. They have found in many studies and many research recently that it actually helps us. It improves our lives better. They recently did this study with couples at UC Davis of couples who were going in to get counseling. And the counselor decided, there's a lot of things they're trying. How about you try saying things that you're grateful for every day for 1 week? So these couples went in and started doing that. That's their homework. And a week went by and they went back in, and the counselor found them to be a little more excited about the person. And so they kept this study up, they kept this homework up. And the gratitude that ended up coming through after a month later was they found out they were way more happy with the other person because they were always looking to what the person was doing and not what the person wasn't doing. And so this study was interesting because this really took off the rest of counseling and psychology. And so oftentimes for us, right, my default, your default, is not to be a thankful person. Right? Our default is to find the one sliver of negativity in the day of good things, right? It's to focus on the negative side of our emotions, right? How sad we are because something didn't happen, instead of focusing on what we actually have, what we've been given, and what we can find gratitude in. And so our point number 1 is to see your need for gratitude. See your need for gratitude. Dr. Robert Emmons is a psychologist at UC Davis. He was actually the one who started this couples counseling on focusing on gratitude and the association that it brings with happiness. And he says that it improves 3 things. 3 things. The first one that it improves is our health. It improves our health. Okay, how does thankfulness improve our health? Well, I don't know about you, but when you feel stressed or when I feel stressed, logic kind of goes out the window in my brain, right? And so I start to not sleep well. I start to not eat as well as I should. I do not say things as clearly as I should because I'm stressed. I'm anxious. There are things in life that are stressful and anxious. But as Dr. Emmons would say, when you focus on gratitude, you start to recognize the things that you have versus the things that you don't have. Your focus changes. Not to say that there aren't hard things in life and there aren't tricky things in life that you don't have to navigate, but your perspective ends up focusing more on the gratitude of things, the thankfulness, the things that you see that are good in every day. And so you start to sleep better. You start to eat better. And you start to talk clearly, right? The logic comes back. So that's the first way. It improves our health. The second way is that it improves our emotions, right? So often, I think we have a positive feeling, right? We're happy, and within seconds, it's gone, right? Have you ever bought the iPhone, right? You start with the iPhone 12. The next year, the iPhone 13 is out, and what do you want? You want the iPhone 13, right? Because it's bigger, it's better, the camera lens is supposedly better, the colors are cuter, right? I mean, we want the next best thing. And so the things that we're thankful for at the time go away so fast. But when you focus on thankfulness and gratitude, we come to understand the value of the things that we have. We come to understand that the things that we have are truly good, and that they can be good, and that you focus on it more, and so it doesn't go away as fast. The emotions of happiness and joy and thankfulness don't go away as fast. So if it helps us keep our focus on our positive emotions, that means it also blocks our negative emotions. I'm sure I'm not the only one in this room who has ever felt discouraged or lonely, depressed, envious, discontent, frustrated, sad. All of those emotions are real, and those are emotions that we feel at times every day. Something will trigger those. But with gratitude, we start to kind of take a step back away from it. If we can focus our brains on the things that we have and the things that we can be thankful for, the sadness goes away a little bit. The envy of what someone else has, it goes away a little bit. I don't know if you've ever been envious. Maybe I'm the only one in the room that's ever wanted something that someone else has had. But if you try to be envious, try being grateful at the same time. Seriously, try it next time. The next time you find yourself wanting something else, start thinking of ways that you're grateful for. You know, I'm grateful for my bed. I'm grateful for the roof over my head. I'm grateful for my kids. I'm grateful for my car. Start thinking through it. I can guarantee you the envy is going to go away because envy and gratitude can't be together. You can't want something else and be grateful for all the good things that you have. It diminishes it, right? So these negative emotions that we often feel start to kind of slip away and your perspective changes into the positives. So it improves our health, it changes our emotions, and it builds relationships. Interesting. I told you about the couples, but they also tried this in University of Pennsylvania with managers and workers. There were a bunch of people or college students that were working for the fundraising company in this college. And they go on the same day and they work and they split them up into 2 different rooms. The first group, they said, keep working like you normally do. So the group went in, they took the calls all day, and that's what happened. The second group, the director came in and gave them a little pep talk. She said, thank you so much for the encouragement that you have brought on these phone calls. You've worked hard. I see your effort. I appreciate what you're doing. Thank you for working hard. What's interesting is by the end of the day, the second group had made 50% more calls than the first group and 75% more calls than they had the day before. Why is that? Well, I think part of gratitude is it shows that you care, right? When someone says thank you, it shows that they care about you. It shows that they care about the good things that you have given them or have done for them. And so this comes out in the way that we deal with our marriages. It comes out with the way that we work with people. It comes out in our friends, and it comes out in our family. Well, you might be thinking, that sounds great. I would love to sleep better and not be stressed, and I would love to just be able to enjoy the things that I've been given a little bit more, but there's a lot going on. You don't know my family situation. You don't know where I'm coming from. Well, yes, you're right. I don't know where you're coming from, but I can tell you that at some point, gratitude becomes a choice. It's something that we have to be intentional with, and it takes effort. And so that is our second point. Choose to be grateful. Choose to be grateful. It's like if I were to set the goal to eat healthy, right? Let's say I've done this actually multiple times. I've said I want to eat healthier. But if I just set my mind to want to eat healthier, I'm not actually doing anything different, right? I'm going to eat the same food, and I'm going to hope that it, becomes healthier food. Well, it's kind of similar with thankfulness, right? If we say that we want to be a thankful person, that we want to have a thankful life, we're not just going to wake up one day and be like, oh, finally, I'm a thankful person, right? It doesn't happen that way. We have to choose to be grateful every single day. Every morning that we wake up, we have to wake up and we have to say, I am going to choose to be a thankful person today. But it's hard, right? It is hard. And so we need to build these habits, right? We need to create these habits in our lives and in our homes. And so there's a few ways that we can do this. The first one is to say it. Say it. 2 words. Thank you. Super simple, but I think oftentimes it gets stuck in our heads, right? We might be thinking it, but it never actually makes its way out of our mouths. I don't know if I'm the only one that has that, but oftentimes my husband will do something, maybe he'll clean the bathroom, and I am very appreciative in my head. But my attitude does not say that, and my words have not expressed that, right? Sometimes it's like, well, of course I'm thankful. You should know that I'm thankful. But it doesn't come out of my mouth, so why should he know that I'm thankful for that, right? So we need to say it. And again, this takes work, right? We don't just automatically say thank you to every person. We need to practice and get it in our brains to say it out loud when we think it. So this can be done a few different ways, right? You need to say it to your husbands. Have you ever stopped and when he got home from work said, "Thank you so much for working hard for our family today"? When was the last time you thanked him? When was the last time you thanked him in the morning? Thank you for going to work this morning for our family. Thank you for putting away your shoes, right? I mean, am I the only one? You don't have to not say thank you, or you have to say thank you even when they're supposed to do what they're supposed to do, right? Sometimes it's like, well, they're supposed to do that, so why would I say thank you? No, you say thank you because you appreciate the work they're doing. You appreciate that somehow whatever they're doing is helping you out, right? My husband puts away his shoes. Maybe he's supposed to be doing that, but really I'm thanking him because then I don't have to put away his shoes, right? He's doing something to help me out. He's cleaning the house. Say thank you to your husbands. What about your kids, right? Probably most of your kids are going to have chores. Chores are a great thing. It's something that they are supposed to do. They're supposed to obey you to do the chores. But don't let it just be there. Say thank you to your kids. Thank you, honey, for putting away the dishes that really helped mommy out. Thank you for obeying me. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for giving me that time with daddy. Whatever it is, thank your kids, right? You want to show your kids that you are appreciative of the work that they have, that brings value to them. Well, this goes with family, right? Parents. How often do we say thank you to our parents? My parents are in Michigan. They're across the country. But oftentimes there are things that I realize I have gotten from them that I'm very thankful that I did get from them. Do I say it? Probably not. Do I need to say it more? Yes. I need to call them up and I need to say, thank you so much for teaching me this. Thank you for giving me encouragement in this, right? It goes beyond our homes. It goes to our families, our extended families. It goes to our friends, right? Say thank you to our friends. Don't take these people for granted. They're helping you out. They're serving. They're loving you this way. Say thank you to the grocery store people, right? The people that are bagging your groceries, yes, it's their job, and that's great, but they're helping you out. Say thank you to them. Smile at them. Look them in the eye. Tell them that you appreciate that they're bagging your fruits and veggies so you don't have to do it. Do it at the bank. Do it at the park. Do it literally everywhere. You can say thank you. It's 2 words that we need to get out of our head, out of our mouth. Okay, well, saying thank you is great, but we all know that saying thank you is sometimes not what we mean, right? We might say thank you and mean the total opposite. Or we don't really care that they did something for us. We've all been in that shoes where a parent says, say thank you, and the kid goes, thank you. And the kid's not really thankful. Well, we're like that too sometimes, right? We say thank you, but it's not coming through in our words. It's not coming through in our attitudes. And so we need to show it. We need to show our thankfulness. So we need to first say it, and then we need to show it. You could look online. You could type in, what are ways to be thankful, to be practically thankful? And you would get tons and tons of articles with many different ideas, and I encourage you to look those up if it's interesting. So I just have a few here to hopefully help us get started on thinking through how we can show thankfulness. The first is thank you cards. Thank you cards. This goes under show it and not say it because thank you cards are a lot of work. If you've ever written a thank you card, you need to find a card, and then you need to sit down in some time that you have. You need to take a pen and you need to write out your thoughts, right? It's an action that is done. Yes, you're saying thank you with your words that you're writing, but it takes time, right? It's more than just saying thank you. Can I tell you about an epic fail that I have had with thank you cards? I think you'll laugh, but maybe not. Last year, my husband and I, we got married. And you know how you get like all the gifts and you have to write down who gave you what gift and then what it was. So that way you can go back later and write thank you cards. We ordered the thank you cards, and then, you go through the whole process. And at first, I was so good about it, right? I got my grandparents out, right? Because they're the ones that really care. And then you have your family, and then you're like, okay, like I have 80 more left. And these are a lot of people, and this is going to take a lot of time. Well, I was so good at the beginning because I was so excited. And then time got the best of me, right? I started getting busy. And I started working, and then there were holidays. And then, after 4 months, you're like, do people still care, about thank you cards? And then we ended up moving in August to a new apartment, and I found this stash of thank you cards. And at this point, I knew I was going to talk about this subject, and I knew that I was going to need to write these thank you cards if I was going to talk about writing thank you cards. And so I put them on my dining room table in my new apartment in September. They are still there. That is an epic fail of mine. I did not stick to my intentionality, to my choice of being thankful for those. Yes, I might be thankful in my head every time I use this pot that's on my stove. I love it. I remember the person that gave it to me, but I still have not taken the time to write it down. So you'd be happy to know my goal is to get it done before Christmas. And we just celebrated our 1-year anniversary. So it feels super awkward to send these thank you notes, but I know it's important. And I need to do it. And so while it's slightly embarrassing for me, and it's, so late in the game, and I want to just say, I'm so sorry you're receiving this so late, I need to make that choice to sit down, to write the last 50 thank you cards, and to send them, right? I can't just write them. I need to put them in the mailbox. I need to watch the mailbox. I need to put a sticker on it. I need to send it. A sticker, a stamp. Thank you. I was like, sticker is not the right word. So that is a choice that I need to do. Don't be like me. Christmas is coming, and you are going to get gifts. Take the time. Target has the cute little thank you cards that comes in 10 little box. Get a Target one for $4.99. Sit down for an hour and write thank you cards, or write one thank you card a day. If I had done that, I would have been done so long ago. But I had not done that. I waited, and I did not make that choice. Okay, well, that's the first thing, thank you cards. Second one is to do something nice for someone else, right? Do something nice for someone else. Sometimes this looks a little different. Sometimes it could be picking up a coffee and dropping it off at their house. Just because maybe they said something that was so kind and it was really thoughtful and you wanted to thank them, so you got them a coffee. Or you went to the store and got a Toll House cookie dough roll. You put it in the oven, right, because it's already made, so you just need to throw it in the oven, and you drop it off at your neighbor's house. Or you do the dishes because your husband spent some time with the kids and you got an hour of alone time. And so you want to thank him with more than just words. Do something he doesn't like, right? If he doesn't like doing the dishes, do the dishes. It's kind of easy, kind of hard. All of this takes time, right? All of this takes time. That's the hard part about it. This is why we don't just jump into it, because it takes our time, it takes our energy. And yet it's so important to choose this every single day. The third way that many counselors actually suggest, and one that I have found to be helpful, is a gratitude journal. And this is more for you as a person, but it does change your mindset. I started October 16th because I knew I was going to speak on November 16th, and I wanted to see what would happen in a month. Would my mindset change? Would it be easier? Would it be harder? And so I do it on my notes app because I find that I always have my phone with me. And I wanted it to be as easy as possible to do. I know people will get a book. If that's your thing, get a journal. If it's not, put it on notes, do something, sticky notes, whatever it is. I do 3 things a day. I do the date, and I do a little dash. And before you're like, wow, 3 things. My 3 things are often a warm cup of coffee in the morning, a drive to work. I love my drives to work. I drive 2 minutes here. And I wish it was longer because I need time to just process. And so I love my 2 minutes of silence in the car. This morning I was driving here and the sun kind of came through the clouds, and the clouds ended up being like little cotton candy clouds. I love cotton candy clouds. It reminds me of the Midwest. And so that was one thing that made it on my journal. It doesn't have to be this, big thing that happens. It can be a warm cup of coffee. Or I really liked this cozy blanket I had on my bed. Or, I had a great breakfast. Or my kid said the nicest thing, write those down. And what's been cool is the first week, you guys, it was so hard. It was so hard to wake up and to be like, what am I thankful for? It took me so long to write down 3 simple things. It's been a month, and some days, yes, it takes a little more effort than other days. But it's exciting because my brain's already thinking about what is something I'm going to be grateful for today. And if you forget, you can always look back at all the previous ones and say, I was happy for a warm cup of coffee that morning. I had one this morning too. That's what I'm going to choose to be grateful for. So we say it, and then we show it, and then lastly, we teach it. You are moms of littles who think the world evolves around them. They are not going to wake up one morning, just like us, and say, I'm a grateful person. We have to teach it. And that is hard, because before we can teach it, we have to exemplify it to them, right? This is why we started off with you have to say it, and you have to show it. Because if you're asking them to do something that you're not doing, why would they do it? Right? This starts off at a young age. Sometimes, you want them to be older and say thank you when they get a good gift. Well, if you want them to be 9 and say thank you, you're going to have to start a little earlier than 9, right? You need to start as soon as you can. Start showing it to them. And then when they can talk, say, I expect you to say thank you when you are given something, right? Have you ever gone over to that great aunt's house and they give you a lollipop or something, and you're like, say thank you, and they're not saying thank you, and the aunt's looking at you, and you're just like, this is awkward, right? Okay, we need to expect our children to say thank you. Tell them ahead of time, hey, someone's going to give you something most likely. They don't have to give it to you, right? Tell them what gratitude is. No one has to give you anything, but you are going to choose to be grateful. I'm going to expect you to say thank you when I say thank you, right? You expect it of them, even when they're really, really little, because that way when they're 9 and they get something, they know, right? It's ingrained in their brain, say thank you. The little to-do list things, and if they do it, you get a gold star, and it kind of gives you you could do a week, or you could do a month or 2 weeks, right? And if they do their chores, they get a gold star, and it goes on the fridge, right? And at the end, if they've done it every single day, they get a prize. Or I think of potty training, right? It's gold star every time you go to the bathroom, and then if you make it 3 days, you get a prize. Do that with thankfulness, right? If you go out and about and someone gives them a gift, and you say thank you, and they say thank you, a gold star goes on that, right? You are reinforcing in their brain that thank yous are a good thing, that thank yous are needed, right? That's the polite thing to do, but it also teaches them that it's outside of themselves. They didn't have to have this thing, but it was given to them. Thank you notes. Again, you can have kids write thank you notes. I know this seems, different. We've kind of lost the art of thank you notes a little bit, but we can have kids write thank you notes. And if they can't write it, they can at least tell you what they want to say. It might not be, 4 pages long like we would do, but it's going to be maybe a sentence or 2, right? thank you for this gift because I like the color blue and I got a blue car, right? I mean, it's something, right? Get them into the practice of being a thankful person. Start it young because it's hard when you get older. You know that. Our tendency is to complain, to go to the negative, right? But ultimately, we're going to have a choice if we are going to choose thankfulness or if we are going to choose to be complainers. And either one is going to build the habit. When you complain, it's going to build the habit. When you are thankful, it's going to build the habit. So what habit are you going to start building in your children's life and in your own life even today? So you might be thinking, well, there's really nothing to be thankful for. I have a hard time being thankful right now in this season of life. I don't have a great family situation. We're going into the holidays. There's a lot, financial stress. It's just really hard, really, really hard to be thankful. It doesn't feel like I can be thankful for anything. I get it. I've been in those seasons, and at times, I've been in those days, right? Sometimes there's just a day that you're like, I can't be thankful. There's nothing good. But can I encourage you in something that there is good in every single day because of what God has given you and me? Every single day, there is a good gift that God has given. The Bible teaches that every good and perfect gift comes from God. Anything that you would say is good or is perfect, right? Even the cup of coffee, if it's good, it comes from God. And if it comes from God, then we, as women that want to live a thankful life, need to give thanks to God. Point number 3, give thanks to God. God has given mankind all good things. And I think so often we forget what these good things are, right? We take it for granted. And so I listed a few here. I'm sure you can talk more and more about what good things God has given you even today. The first one I had was the sun. The sun. When we wake up in the morning, the sun is shining or is going to shine, right? The sun rises. If the sun didn't rise, we would most likely not be here on this planet or be able to live. The sun rises because God causes the sun to rise. The rain. Did anyone love the rain yesterday? Okay. I like rain now that I've been out here. But in Michigan, I did not like the rain. And I will say, last night I was running to my car and did not like the rain either because you just feel gross and sticky and then you get in the car and it's just not fun, right? Okay, the rain is a good thing. And it seems simple, but the rain is a good thing because if it doesn't rain, we don't have crops. And if we don't have crops, we don't have food. And if we don't have food, we don't grow and we can't put stuff on our table for us or our kids. Right? We need the rain in order to survive, just like we need the sun. Well, what about when we wake up in the morning and we breathe, right? Our breath comes from God. So yeah, there might not be a lot to be thankful for, but when you wake up in the morning and you take a deep breath, that breath comes from God. It's a good thing that we have all been given. What about our minds? Our minds are a beautiful and good thing, right? We have intellect. We have reason and logic, right? We know the difference between right and wrong. We can learn and we can grow. Those are things that come from God. Those are good things. What about our immune systems, right? It's that time where kids get sick, and then you get sick, and then your kids get sick, and it's just a cycle. We have immune systems built into our bodies that teach us to heal, right? They are getting us back to the life to where we can be healthy, to where we can move. It's the same thing with when you or when your kid scrapes their knee, right? Skin cells come back every day and they start to heal it. So the next day your kid can scrape the same knee again. But the skin cells, they come back. They're built in. Those are things given by God. So every day when you wake up, there's something to be thankful for. The fact that you woke up is a good thing, and it's given to you by God. And so we can give thanks to God. But the greatest gift that we have ever been given by God, ever, is the gift of salvation through his Son, Jesus. You see, God is holy and perfect, and the Bible teaches this. And he created us, and when he created us, we were holy and perfect. But then we chose to not listen to God. We chose to go on our own path. And so we went on our own path, and in doing so, we have sin. And sin cannot be in the same presence as God. Because God is perfect and holy, he cannot even look at sin. He cannot be with us in sin. And so our relationship is separated. But God, because he loved us so much, and because he loves you so much, has created a way that we can be in relationship with him forever. He sent his son Jesus to die on the cross and take our penalty. The penalty that we deserve when we sin, the separation from God, Jesus took that so that we can be in relationship with God forever, so we can have eternal life. Every day when we wake up, if we respond rightly to this truth, there is always something to be thankful for, because we know that we are not where we should be, right? We did not deserve God's love and God's grace, and yet he gave it to us. That's why we can be thankful every day, in the good, in the hard, in the not so great days. There's a story in the Bible of these 10 men who were lepers. Lepers was this skin disease back in the day, and they had to be isolated and put in a different community from where they grew up. If they found skin spots and stuff, it was contagious, and so the priest would send them away, and that was their life. They had no hope. They just lived out there until they died. There was no community. Well, one day, 10 lepers meet Jesus, and they ask him for help. And Jesus says, go to the priests, go to the temple, and ask them if you are cleansed. And of course, they looked at their skin, right? They're not cleansed yet. But they go anyways. And so as they're going to this temple where the priest would say if you were cleansed or not, their skin was clean. Jesus had healed them. They went from this spotty, contagious, gross skin to this clean skin. Well, they were so excited that 9 of them kept going to the temple. They wanted to continue on with their life. They wanted to go back and tell their families of this incredible thing that had happened. But one of them stopped, turned around, and went back to Jesus. He went back to Jesus and said, thank you for healing me. You see, we don't want to be the 9 lepers who realize that we have good gifts, but we never thank the good giver for it. Right? We want to be the one that runs back to Jesus, that says, thank you for these good gifts. I don't deserve them, yet you've given them to me. And so, yes, we want to be thankful for the people around us and our family and our husbands, but ultimately we want to be thankful for the God that has given us every good gift. Thank you.